I saw this video on Friday, shortly after the show wrapped, and I've just been waiting for Monday so that if you haven't seen it, I could play it for you, and we can give this this gentleman the credit he deserves. So before we play the clips here, here's the post from the headline from the New York Post says, "Store owner gets in heated exchange with transgender woman over offensive sign." It's an offensive sign, we're told. That's many headlines saying that. Offensive. He's being offensive. And then we're told, the owner of a Washington State Star Wars memorabilia store got caught on video having a shouting match with a transgender politician who confronted him over a sign in his window that said, "If you're born with a penis, you are not a chick." Only they use the word for penis that rhymes with chick. Yeah. If you're born with that, you're not a chick. That's what the sign said. That's the offensive sign. That is a plain fact. So this man already, here's what we know about this man. He believes in the truth, and he's an advocate for science education, because that's what that sign is educating you on a unavoidable fact of biological science. But the article goes on and says, Tiesa Meskis, a councilwoman, quote unquote, in the town of Aberdeen, stormed into the Sucher & Sons Star Wars shop and had words with owner Don Sucher on Wednesday over the handwritten message that he posted, according to King 5 TV. You could see, and we'll play the video here. This is where the video picks up. Meskis comes in, is shouting at Sucher, saying trans women are women, so on and so forth, very offended by the sign. And that's where the video picks up, and we'll play it right now. Here it is.
I'm telling you right now, as a trans women are women.
Well, I'm telling you, as a man, that's bull.
Uh-huh.
It's total bull.
Okay.
You know what? Nobody confronts your. That's the problem.
Really?
If they'd say,
really?
What the?
You want to bet?
What the is
you know
going
what I have had
Do you
to
know how
live
many
with?
people you've embarrassed at
Oh,
City
wow.
Hall?
Me, an
They have
embarrassment to City
they
Hall?
have
Really?
to tolerate
You're an
that.
city, sir. You are an embarrassment to this city.
I am a pillar in the city.
Everybody knows.
I'm a pillar in this. Now,
Oh,
you
yeah.
do that. Do you know why? Every time some bull like this happens, my sales go up because people are wanting this side.
Really?
Really.
We're going to show them this side of you, and
You do it. You do it. You do it really good, because guess what?
Hopefully we can wake you up.
You are nuts.
Let's wake you up.
You
to the
are
truth,
nuts.
sir.
You're not a woman. You don't look like a woman. You
Uh-huh.
don't act like a woman.
Really?
You're in the head. What's wrong
really?
with you?
I'm in the head.
I am confronting you.
Yes, sir.
That you are.
And I'm confronting.
Oh man, that is. This guy, I want to adopt him as my I want him to adopt me and be my grandfather. That's what I want. And this is the guy who owns a Star Wars memorabilia shop. I mean, I am finding unity with someone who's dedicated their life to being a Star Wars fan. What does that tell you? And that's, I unironically, and I don't even mean this as a joke, I'm dead serious. If I was President of the United States, I would give him the Medal of Freedom. And if it was up to me, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. I really would. Because I, of course, am as fed up with this as he is. And this is what we talked about. This is what I'm talked about it last week. We always talk about it. That this is the point people need to reach this point. Where you're not going to cower and back down. Someone comes in there and they get in your face. This offends me. I don't like it. I don't care. This is the truth. It's just the truth. You're not going to scare me. And because here's what makes this video so refreshing. The beginning part of it, we've seen that a million times, right? We've seen it a million times where someone in the protected class, and the most protected class of all is quote unquote trans women, men who identify as women, the most protected of all. And once they have spoken, that is supposed to be the end of the conversation. Once they come along and say, what you just said offends me, then your response is supposed to be, well, never mind. Whatever I said, I was wrong. I'm so sorry. I beg for your forgiveness. Please forgive me. And so we've seen the beginning of the video where the person comes in and confronts and says, this offends me. The rest of that is not usually how that ends, because usually the person who is the offender, the supposed offender, then they collapse into a puddle and they beg for forgiveness. And this guy just stands there and says, I don't care. Whatever. It's the truth. You say you're a woman. You're wearing a dress. But you're not. You're not a woman. You just aren't. That is not true. It even gets better, though. Another quick clip here. As the confrontation moves from inside the comic book or the memorabilia store, and it spills outside, and they continue. And this is where the trans person tells our friend Don that, hey, this really hurts my feelings. I don't like how this makes me feel, what you're saying. And here's Don's response to that. Let's watch.
And some people think it's hurtful.
Well,
he told us that this hurt.
But here's the thing. I don't give about feelings anymore. I'm 78. I went to Vietnam to fight for all this. Do you think I care about some feelings? Absolutely not.
Thank you, sir. That's it. And this is especially what we need. We need, and I hate to say this, I wish that my generation or the younger generations could stand up against that, but unfortunately there are so few of us that even have our heads screwed on correctly with this. And in the younger generations, I mean, they've been indoctrinated into this from infancy, so it's almost hopeless. What we really need is sort of like the final service that generation can perform for us, and they've performed many other services. We really need them to just stand up and say, I got nothing. This is crazy. I know it's crazy. I'm in my 70s. I'm reaching the end of my life here eventually. And this is just nuts. What do I got to lose? And that's this guy's attitude. He's 78. As he says, he's 70 bleeping 8 years old. What does he got? What are you going to take from him? He runs a Star Wars shop. What do you have over his head? But you see, and that's how pervasive this has become, that even this kind of altercation between a much older person who has they've lived their entire life. For this guy, the first 70 years of his life, there was no discussion at all about whether or not a man in a dress is actually a woman. It was not even discussed. We didn't talk about it. And then in his 7th decade, all of a sudden, he's supposed to change what he has known to be true for the previous 7 decades? And at least he's willing to stand there and say, no. You can't just come along here and expect me to, after 78 years, to abandon everything I know about reality because you're upset. And he's willing to say that, but so many people, this is not just a younger person problem, older people too. I mean, this country is still being run largely by people in their 70s. And they've all bought in. Joe Biden is 78 years old. And he's running, he might as well dye his hair pink at this point. Running around South, his rhetoric at 78, Joe Biden, he sounds like a 19-year-old gender studies major. And that's the case for so many people, but at least here's one guy willing to simply speak the simple truth. It's sad that this is a notable event at all, that I'm spending 10 minutes talking about it. There should be nothing notable about this whatsoever. This is a rational guy being confronted by an irrational person and simply speaking some really basic fundamental truth about reality. And there should be nothing notable about that. But it is, because there are so few people who are willing to do that these days. So, Don Sucher, American hero. Let's make him president. We're electing 78-year-olds these days, so why not him? Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.